set his face to go to Jerusalem. In Mark chapter number 10, verse number 2. Verse 32. And they, referring to Jesus and his disciples, were in the way going up to Jerusalem, and Jesus went before them, and they were amazed. As they followed him, they were afraid. For he took again the 12 and began to tell them what things should happen unto him, saying, Behold, we go up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man shall be delivered unto the chief priests, and unto the scribes, and they shall condemn him to death, and shall deliver him to the Gentiles, and they shall mock him, and scourge him, and shall spit upon him, and shall kill him, and the third day he shall rise again. Amen. I thought it was going to come from the latter clause. Amen. The latter clause of verse 52. He steadfastly set his face to go to Jerusalem. I think the latter clause of verse 32 of Mark 10, where he took again the disciples and began to tell them what things should happen unto him. From those scriptures, my subject is, look at somebody and say, he went anyway. So, what if you knew the day that you were going to die? What if you knew how you were going to die? What if you knew the city in which you were going to die? What if you knew the time that you were going to die? If you knew all that, would you, on that day, go to that place at that time? Anyway, Jesus knew. He told his disciples. He knew who. He told his disciples. He knew how. He told his disciples. They were afraid. He knew where. He knew when. He knew. He told them. And he turned and went there anyway. Think for a moment. Would you go? You ain't ready? And if you knew when you were going to die, if you knew that death would be a particularly violent one, would you go to that place? To that site? Surrender yourself to the executioners whom you knew were waiting or arriving? Would you go anyway? Jesus knew. He told his disciples that he knew. He knew that, contrary to all of our human inclinations, he set his face and went anyway. I once read a legend that supposedly happened in the streets of Damascus. It was told that a merchant sent his servant to the market in Damascus. When the servant arrived home, trembling, agitated, and afraid. The master said to the servant told his master, while I was at the marketplace, as he was shaking, I was grabbed by someone in the crowd. I turned to see who grabbed me, and I saw that he who grabbed me was Death. Death looked at me and made a fine gesture to me, but Death let me go and fled. Master, the servant said, I must escape. Death is after me. Please lend me your horse so that I may flee from death. I want to flee to Samaria. I will hide there so that Death was at Damascus can't find me. The servant's master rushed rushed to the marketplace at Damascus, and he saw death still there in Damascus in the crowd. The master said to death, "Why did you startle my servant this morning by making threatening gestures toward him and let him go?" Death replied, "That was no threatening gesture. Your servant surprised me. I was startled to see him here in Damascus because I have an appointment with him tonight in Caesarea." What would you do if you had a rendezvous with death and you knew the time of your death, you knew the nature of your death, you knew the place of your death? Would you go anyway? Or would you, like that servant, flee to another city or go in another direction? This is what is unique about Jesus. He knew, and he did not flee from that destiny because he went anyway. What if you were told the nature of your death? What if you were told it's not going to be a tranquil one? What if you were told that death was going to be a particularly bloody death? What if you were told that before dying you were going to be beat senseless? Then there would be no one there to come to your defense? Jesus knew all of that. But would you go? Would you go anyway? Jesus knew. He knew that his death would be like none other, that it would be uncommonly brutal. He knew all of the particulars of it, and he still went. He knew about himself what no one else in history knows about themselves. This is recorded about him, and there is recorded nowhere about anyone knowing about their death to the degree that Jesus did. No one would be stricken and bruised. He would be spat upon, and the hairs would be plucked from his face. He knew all of that. But tell somebody he did not flee. Knowing all of that, tell somebody he went anyway. Buddha found a religion. He didn't come into this world knowing the time, place, and nature of his death. He didn't come preaching his death, that he was dying for the world. And in the end, death took Buddha by surprise. Muhammad found the religion. He didn't come into this world knowing the time, place, and nature of his death. He didn't come preaching his death, that he was dying for the world. Death took him by surprise. Confucius found the religion. He didn't come into this world knowing the time, place, and nature of his death. He didn't come preaching he was dying for the world, and when he died, death took him by surprise. And Buddha and Muhammad and Confucius, when their death did come, if they could, they would not have agreed to die. I say that because Jesus could have changed his mind. Jesus could have said to hell with all of us. So you know I wasn't cussing. To the lake of fire with all of us. But he didn't. He could have told death that he has decided I'm not going to die. And if he had made that decision, there would be nothing that death could do about it. He told that to his disciples. He made it plain to them, no man take my life. He let them know that he has the power to lay it down. And he has the power to take it up. So it was on his own accord. He knew the time. He knew the place. He knew the intricate details of the violence which he must endure. He knew it all. He told his disciples about his death. He told them the whats, the wherefores, the whys, the hows of his death, so that they would know that when death took him, it was not a chance occurrence, because Jesus told them everything that was going to happen. He wanted his disciples to know that what was about to occur would not be by the control of men. It would not be by accident. It would not be by chance. But what was to occur was to be by the determinate counsel of God and not by men. Jesus told them, he gave them the blow by blow. He told them the details. He told them in chronological order of the events, so that when they look back on what occurred, they would know that no man took his life. He laid it down because he told them about it before he died. The gospel records the numerous occasions And there were numerous occasions when men tried to kill him, but the time wasn't right. They tried, but they could not, because that was not the right time, the right place, the right circumstance. Each time that men tried, they could not. And every time the scriptures record by simply saying they couldn't kill him because his time had not yet come.
That's right.
But now, at this time, here in Mark chapter 10, the last sentence of verse 32, it says he took the 12 and began to tell them what things should happen unto him, saying, behold, we're going to Jerusalem. The Son of Man shall be delivered unto the chief priests and to the scribes. They shall condemn him to the Gentiles. They shall mock him and shall scourge him and shall spit upon him and shall kill him. Tell me if that's not that 411. The details, the blow by blow. Well, let's take a look at it again. Jesus says, number one, boys, we're going to Jerusalem. Number two, I'm going to be arrested. Number three, I'm going to be brought before the chief priests, and then after that, I'm going before the scribes. Number four, there's going to be a trial. Number five, I'm going to be turned over to the Gentiles. Number six, I'm going to be mocked. Number seven, I'm going to be scourged. Number eight, I'm going to be spat upon. And number nine, finally, I'm going to be killed. And that brings me back. If you knew the city and the time in which you were going to be killed, would you go? If you knew all of that, would you go? Would you get in your mode of transportation, tell the family and friends, bye, I'm leaving, that you're going to the place of your death to be killed? Jesus did. And he went. Not only did he go, but he gave every detail for us to know that he was in control of the events and not the events in control of him. Now, let me be me, and I hope that you're honest with yourself as well. I'm going to tell you the truth about me. If I knew when I was going to die, if I knew the city of my death, if I knew the time of my death, and I knew that I have the power not to die, and I knew that, oh yeah, I'll go. I'll go, and somebody would have hell to pay when I got there. I'd show up with my gang of 12. I know where they're going to be. I'd ambush those plotters. I'd ambush them before they knew I was there, and I'd kill every one of them. Jesus had that same power. He let Peter know that he had that power. He let Caiaphas know that he had that power. He let Pilate know that he had that power. He told Pilate, I got 12 legions of angels. If I just said the word, they would come and rescue me. That's 72,000 angels. He told Peter, who took a sword to try to stop Jesus from dying, he told Peter, put that sword up. Think it not that I cannot now pray to my Father, and he shall presently give me 12 legions of angels? He told Caiaphas he has the power over death to die or not die. He said to Pilate, hereafter you shall see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of power and coming in the clouds of heaven. He told Pilate, my kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, then would my servants fight that I should not be delivered to the Jews. Thou, he tells Pilate, could have no power at all against me except it were given thee from above. Oh yeah. If I had that power, if Bradley had the power to call angels from heaven, if I had that power to die if I wanted to, yeah, under those circumstances, I'd go to that city. I'd go to the place of my death, but I wouldn't go to die. I'd go to kick some gluteus maximus. There'd be some dying in that city, and it wouldn't be me. How many know it's you also? Amen. But that wasn't so with Jesus. He went anyway. He went to die. He could have called for 12 legions of angels, 72,000 angels. They were there encompassed around the circumference of the earth. They were at his beck and call. He could have called them, but he did not. He held his peace. He didn't say a murmuring word, and so went to die. He counseled the 12. He said, boys, sit down so you don't get nervous and despondent. Let me tell you what's about to transpire so that you won't become dejected. I'm telling you this so that you will know that what looks like defeat will not be defeat, but victory. I'm telling you so that what looks like failure will not be failure, but success. I'm telling you this because by my dying to live again will give you the strength such that when your day arrives, you'll be able to choose death, knowing that if I could get up out of the grave, I can get you up out of the grave. He told his disciples exactly what was going to occur, and it occurred just as Jesus told his disciples. He was delivered by the Roman military to the chief priests, just like he said. After that, he was presented to the scribes, the lawyers who would improperly adjudicate the trial, just like he said. The trial would be rigged, the witnesses would be tainted, the evidence would be in violation of established law, and the sentence would be death in the kangaroo court, just like he said. He would be beaten senseless, would be bled profusely, would be marked irreverently, would be slapped violently, and would be spat upon unceremonially, just like he said. He wasn't just killed, he would suffer a painful death. There would be no serum injected in his arm to make the pain less. There would be no noose around his neck. There would be no quick death by guillotine. The death would be gory, the Bible reveals. It would be bloody. It would be gruesome. It would be disgusting. It would be nauseating, stomach churning, and turning wretched. He knew all of this, and he went. Isaiah described the repulsive, revolting, bodily appearance of Jesus after the night of horror and torture at the hands of the torturers. When he came out of the torture room from judgment hall to judgment hall, Isaiah described his appearance as he exited the judgment hall after being beat unmercifully all night long. Isaiah said, many were astonished at thee. His visage was so marred more than any man, and his form more than the sons of men. He took that beating, but he told him it was going to happen, and he got up and he still went anyway. If he were to be our oxen, if he were to be our lamb, the scriptures and the law had said he was in the chamber hall. He was frayed and cut in pieces at the hands of the high priest, with head damage and subcutaneous tissue damage, with every organ of his body traumatized and all of his innards inadvertently affected. But he went. If he were to be our turtle dove, our pigeon, he had to also endure being plucked like a bird, having his feathers removed, had to have his blood wrung out of him from that nocturnal beating, had to have the connective tissues damaged till the Bible said that the bones were out of joint without the bones being broken. He knew all of that, and he went anyway. But wait a minute. Here's the rest of the story. Surely, he said he was going to Jerusalem. Sure, he said that he would be delivered unto the chief priests and scribes. Sure, he said he would be condemned to die. Sure, he said that he would be delivered to the Gentiles. Sure, he said that he would be mocked. Sure, he said that he would be scourged. Sure, he said that he would be spat upon. Sure, he said he would be killed. But there was something else he said. He said, and on the third day, I shall rise. Somebody shout the third day. Somebody tell somebody, but on the third day. We don't need to accentuate the negative. We need to accentuate the positive, because he also told them on the third day, I shall get up. Somebody tell somebody, couldn't no grave hold his body down. He said, that means I'm the beginning and the end. That means he's the entire sentence. That means he's every chapter and verse of the book. That means he's every book. That means everything from A to Z and everything in between. He says, I'm Alpha and Omega. Alpha, the first letter of the Greek alphabet. Omega, the last letter, which means he is the Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta, and Epsilon. He's the Zeta, Eta, Theta, Iota, and Kappa. He's the Lambda, Omicron, Pi, and Sigma. He's the Pi, Epsilon, Psi, all the way to Omega. And just in case you can't get the Greek, I'll give you the American. He's the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, N, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Tell somebody he's everything. I said, look at somebody, tell them everything. Every word that can be made from the letters point to Jesus. Every Every verse point to Jesus. Everything that he did point to Jesus. Yes, my brothers and sisters, there was agony. There was agony at Calvary. He did not want to die. He said that the flesh is weak, but the spirit is willing. He didn't want to die. The cross was gruesome. He cried, Father, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but thy will be done. My brothers and sisters, if he had just seen Calvary, he couldn't stand it. If he had seen Calvary, he would not have gone there. He didn't go to the cross because he saw the cross. The Bible said on the other side of the cross, in the year 1900 AD and 2000 AD, he saw me and he saw you and saw the only way he could get to me and you was to go through the cross. And that's why the Bible, we're his joy, y'all. That's why the Bible said for the joy that was set before him, he endured the cross and despised the shame. Turn that sound back up. He was beat all night long because his eyes was on you. He was led from judgment hall to judgment hall because his eyes was on you. He loved you so much that he died and went to Jerusalem for you. And if I don't have anything else to shout about, I got to clap my hands, I got to stomp my feet, because I thank God for what Jesus has done for me. Somebody needs to stand on their feet and look at somebody and say, I thank Jesus that he went anyway. He went for you anyway. Somebody shout, he went anyway. Tell somebody he went anyway. Yes, sir. Yes. Look at somebody and ask them, would you go anyway? Will you please answer them right now? Would you please answer them right now? Would you go? Knowing all this was going to happen, would you go anyway? But the Bible said he set his face steadfastly to go to Jerusalem. You may be seated. We need to understand the impact of this.
Thank you, Jesus.
Jesus was horrified at Gethsemane.
Yes.
I was told that when a race is run, you've probably seen this scenario. The runner is running. His eyes is on the finish line. As soon as he gets close to the finish line, he generally slows up and look back. And then the other person passes him and crosses the finish line because his eyes was on the finish line. Well, coaches tell runners now, don't look at the finish line. Pick a point a quarter of a mile past the finish line and run toward that point and let that be your finish line. So the runner is not running to cross the real finish line. He's running at the prize at the end of the finish line.
Yes.
The prize could be a trip to Disney World. So he's running through the line to get the prize.
Yes.
And that's what the scriptures is saying in Hebrews. It says that Jesus didn't see the cross. That was too agonizing. It said for the joy. What was that joy? We were that joy.
Hallelujah.
He saw you before you were born and knew that you would need a Savior. And if there was no cross, he couldn't get to you. And he loved you so much that he pressed his way through the cross to get to you. He loved you so much, and you should love him so much that you should be so appreciative of what he did for you that there should be no problem with you standing up and making your calling and your election sure, because he went there for. Tell somebody you. Tell them, point to them. He went there for you. He cared about you. He pressed through for you. And I'm almost done. Don't you dare insult Jesus, who loved you so much that you gotta go and wait till you sober up. That you gotta go and wait till the needle is pulled out of your arm. that you got to wait till I got to straighten out my family situation. Don't you insult Jesus. He died for you 2,000 years ago without that consideration. You need to get up and come just as you are because he loved you so much that he passed away from Calvary to get to your drug, liquor. That's enough to make you want to holler. That's enough to make you want to holler, jump up, and hold up. I said that's enough to make you want to holler. I don't think anybody in here can be as bad as I was. I really don't. You can ask my relative down south. Huh? Oh, is somebody? Oh! Let me tell you how bad you are. Jesus, more times than not, chooses and saves the worst person in the family first. So if you're here saved, if you're here saved, don't you come telling me how nice you were. Don't you fool me because you up in age and sitting in a wheelchair. Let me go back to when you were 19 and 20. You were the worst one in the family. And you know why he does that? I'm going to give you a list. Because that means your family without excuse. Because your family say, if he can save you, if he can save Brother Brown, if he can save Pastor Bradley, well, a few years ago we were in the office fighting. And I'm banging on the desk, and he said no, and I'm saying yes. And I'm still saved, and he's still saved, and he can save us too. He judged him. The Bible said, touch not my anointed, do my prophet no harm. So God judged him by taking all the hair out of his head. Amen, so I'm back. Don't mess with me, Lord. It looked like you had a few words to say too to me. Let the church say, amen. Somebody need to get up and come to the Lord right now. God wants to save you. Sir, you know, if John saw you on the Isle of Patmos 2,000 years ago, before you were born, he saw you saved 2,000 years ago. Do you know that the rapture can't come until he get his number? You know, if you're supposed to be in that number and you're not saved, you're holding me up from going to heaven? Don't you think you need to help us speed up the rapture by everybody that's supposed to be in the number? Get up and come right now. Get up right now. Somebody get up right now. He wants to save you. He wants to save you. He went anyway. How many need a Savior? Hold your hand up. All of us. Don't be ashamed. Come right now in the name of Jesus. Come right now in the name of just to do it in remembrance of him. Somebody says, well, I'm a sinner, I haven't been baptized, I'm not saved, I just lived a wretched life last night. He didn't make that condition. What he said was, just do it in remembrance of me. Then he said, if you do it unworthily, that's an adverb, but that means it's the present nature of your mind when you take it. You see, if the condition was that only those who are free from sin could take it, then that would exclude all of us. And then if I stand up and say, I have not sinned, the Bible says, now I've called him a liar. And when he gave communion, his disciples were raising, they were raising havoc. They were fighting over who's going to be the first in the kingdom. I mean, and then the rest of them got upset because James and John got to fighting one with another, that Jesus had to step in and stop the fight on the day they were receiving it. If it had to do with sin, Peter cussed a few hours later. If it had to do with sin, I think it was Simon the Zealot took a sword and cut a man's ear off. So that can't be the reason. But the reason was, if I never thought about Jesus before now, I'm going to think about him right now. I'm going to think about him while I'm taking this. I'm going to think about his death, his burial, and resurrection, which is why he preached that. You want to think about that? There's a message everywhere. And believe by faith. So we're going to make ready, and as soon as I wash my hands, remember